So, I recently went to go watch Exit 8 in theaters, which is a movie based off an indie movie based off a game adaptation. I thought it was really good. I have a total score of 100. I'd give it around 82, 86. I think overall it was really liked or perceived well, but also I see bad reviews about it, so I don't know, but I personally really liked it. I went to see it with a friend. Um he wasn't really sure how he felt about it. He sort of described it as a hell loop, but overall, pretty good to me. And he seemed to enjoy it. He seemed to have enjoyed it, but also maybe went on a bit too long at some parts. Before I really say anything, I do want to say there'll probably be spoilers. That's it. So if you don't want to be spoiled, goodbye. So in the story, we follow. So in the story, we follow a sort of cowardly, unsure, sickly man who's about to become a father, but isn't really participating with his life. We first see him sort of ignoring this woman who's getting yelled at for her baby crying, and he doesn't want to help her, uh, much like the other people on board. But throughout the story, I think he really grows into this wanting to participate eh, or wanting to willingly participate in his life. I think this is sort of a side story to the main story, which is obviously just walking through train tunnels until you can get out. And it's this sort of surreal liminal space that you constantly feel tense because of the sound design, and they use distorted shots, like where it's aimed at the character in the ground, so you feel out of place within the movie itself, along with using different perspectives such as first person and third person, and sometimes working in between the two. We have multiple character storylines. So we have the main character, we have the office worker, the girl, along with the boy, who we don't really know if he's the son of our main character in the future or if he's his own character and the main character was just dreaming the relationship up, which I think is really interesting. Yes. And then they also have this really good use of music, not only to keep you tense, but it's sort of this like preppy parady music that they use at the end. It sort of feels like a march towards something. But then they also use silence really well to mask the noise of the train and sort of getting personal with the main character rather than have all this external noise. And in the end, just like the infinite loop that the train tunnels are, or the subway tunnels, the story connects back to where we started, where the main character is back in the train looking out, or back in the subway looking out the window. Uh, the woman is holding her baby and it's crying, and she's getting yelled at by this man again, and our main character decides to take some action. I think it was very well directed by hopefully I don't butcher this, Ginki Kawamura. I like how in his sickly state, the main character is coughing, constantly using the inhaler, pulling stuff out of his backpack, um, as he initially goes back and forth through the tunnels. And then once he gets far enough, it resets and he becomes completely hopeless, throwing his bag down because he saw a vision and he couldn't tell if it was an anomaly or something real. It sort of distracted him. And so he heads forward only to find that there was in fact an anomaly and he had been reset. and it only was only made more intense by this sort of loud drumming, not drumming, but like it was drumming in your ear music, and he just lays there having completely given up on himself, and then he continues moving forward, meeting the kid, and that's where we have this sort of perspective change into the office worker who we find out was an actual person, who was taken by the tunnels as well as another girl. Okay, this is something I found out. I didn't initially take this into account, but there are some shots in which the scenes are uninterrupted. So they take these really long shots in one takes. So they, I don't know, it was to make you feel like you're trapped within the tunnels and to add to that eeriness and feeling of you can't leave. The story itself is very simplistic, but it kept me personally watching with, especially with the everything mixed in, the camera work, the sound design, and just how the characters worked together to make this movie come together. All right. Nice thing is, in this movie, they are great at showing us what the main character can't see, and then denying us what they don't want us to see. Like, they would block the number on the anomaly board, so, or on the exit board, so you didn't know if he had correctly spotted an anomaly or if he had incorrectly spotted an anomaly and got reset. And then, or they would show an anomaly that the character couldn't see to us, but not to the main character. So, a few examples were the lights in the ceiling toward the beginning of the movie that he completely missed, but we could see because they made it so we could. There's also the kid looking at the door hinge with the first office worker. He misses it, gets reset, and then he also thinks he gets to the end. The boy tries to help him and pull him away from it, but he doesn't listen, and in turn gets trapped in the loop as one of the monsters. But the main character doesn't ignore the boy, notices that there's something on the wall, and he doesn't get trapped in the loop like the office worker. Yeah, overall, I like this simplistic story with great visuals, scoring, or a great score. Obviously, it's a very simple concept, so there's not a lot you can do with it because he is just walking through subway tunnels at the end of the day. I personally liked it, and I thought everything was. I thought the story was good for this simple movie. I liked how at the end the main character decided to make a change to participate effectively in his own life. Yeah, I like the game, so I honestly like games like this, or just watching games like this as well. So I personally thought the movie was good, but maybe that's because I am a gamer. So maybe non gamers wouldn't think the same. Who knows? Anyway, I guess we'll see when the what's it called movie comes out. Backrooms movie. Anyway, peace out and bye.